Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, there may be light at the end of the tunnel for Hollywood studios after a tentative deal was reached with the SAG-AFTRA union last night. We have the next steps in the negotiations. And the civil fraud trial against former President Trump and his organization continued yesterday in New York, with his daughter Ivanka taking the stand to contend the family business. We have more. Turning now to the crossroads, a major drug bust on Interstate 69 Tuesday. We'll tell you more about the operation that took millions of dollars worth of cocaine off our streets.
And that cold front is on its way tonight, bringing us lots and lots of rain. We're going to take a look at that and more in the weather coming up.
The bi-district round of playoffs starts today, and we have a preview of one of the top-ranked teams in the area. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today is the 9th day of November 2023. The time is now, 6:31 on our Thursday morning.
It's Friday Eve.
It is Friday Eve.
Friday.
And on this day in 1922, Dorothy Dandridge, she's an American singer and actress, and actually she's also the first Black woman to be nominated for an Academy Award, was born on this day. We got to listen to a few of her songs while we were getting ready for the show.
What's some good movies that she's in?
I'll have to look it up, but I know she's a lovely singer. We were just listening to a few of her standards.
Oh yeah, she was. She was.
All right, well, Parker, how's it looking out there today for us?
Well, we're expecting a pretty rainy day today, Carolina, because that cold front is on its way tonight. We're going to take a look at that in a moment, because look at the live radar right now. Not much out there, quiet this morning, but we're expecting those showers to start developing and picking up probably later this morning, but because those showers are actually going to start picking up off of this little conveyor belt of moisture that is slowly coming our way. Well, it is a little foggy out there this morning. I know this is, I just said this the last half hour, this is wrong. There's no way it's 20% humidity down on the coast next to water. So that's not, you're probably still plenty foggy down here as well. Like I said, it's probably gonna be a little foggy out there this morning, maybe some patchy fog as you take a look at the current relative humidities out there. Now, anytime you see 95% and higher is when you start seeing that fog start to develop in the air. So anywhere you see like 97 up here in Cuero, 100% in Edna, that's a guaranteed fog out there. So please be careful on the roads this morning. Please be careful if you're out on the roads this morning, because that fog will probably be maybe a little bit dangerous on the drive. But like I said, that fog will be out of our area probably about 9-10 a.m. this morning as that sun starts rising high in the sky. Let's take a look at the timing of that cold front that's coming tonight. Take a look at this is the North America model, because now the timing of that cold front is going to be a very kind of variable as all these models are thinking of different timing here. But we're going to start with the North American model here, starting to look at the dew points. You can see that dry cold air mass coming through our area probably by midnight tonight on this one. But look at the high resolution model. This one thinks probably be in our area probably maybe a little before midnight, maybe 11:30, but it's going to drop us down some cool temperatures tomorrow. Yes, this is your high temperature for tomorrow. 62 degrees, that high temperature. We're going to be staying those cool temperatures for quite a while. We're going to take a look at that and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. SAG-AFTRA has reached a tentative deal on a new contract with the entertainment world's top studios. The union that represents more than 150,000 film and TV performers have had tens of thousands of actors on the picket line since July 14th. The deal does not mean an immediate end to the strike, as SAG-AFTRA members will need to ratify the terms of agreement with a formal vote in the coming days. The tentative agreement caps weeks of negotiations that at one point were attended by Disney, Netflix, Warner Brothers Discovery, and NBC Universal's top officials. The deal comes after negotiators for the Writers Guild of America reached their own agreement with the studios on a new 3-year contract, officially ending the writers' strike back on September 27th. Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka testified in the $250 million civil trial Wednesday. Ivanka testified she was not involved in her father's financial statements and left the Trump Organization back in 2017 to become the top White House aide for her father. She had been a co-defendant alongside her brothers Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, but an appeals court removed her from the case in June. Ivanka was the fourth and final member of the Trump family to testify in the trial. The former president testified Monday, and his 2 adult sons took the stand last week. A manhunt is underway in Jackson County this morning. Authorities are looking for 32-year-old Jonathan Hester of Edna. Authorities say Hester is wanted for assault. Here's a number for you to call if you can help: 361-782-3541. Police arrested a man on drug and fraud charges Monday. The charges were brought against 26-year-old Tracy Hicks Jr. Hicks is in the Victoria County Jail with a bond set at $50,000. Millions of dollars worth of cocaine were taken off the streets this week. The narcotics were seized during a joint drug ban operation between the Wharton Police Department and the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. The team stopped a heavy machinery trailer on I-69 that was found carrying 100 kilos of cocaine. The cocaine has an estimated street value of about $10 million. Federal authorities say they've busted a high-end brothel network. They say the clients were among some of the richest and most powerful people in the country.
Federal investigators say the network of brothels for ultra-rich clients operated out of the Boston area and the Washington, D.C. suburbs.
This commercial sex ring was built on secrecy and exclusivity, catering to a wealthy and well-connected clientele.
They say the brothels were promoted online with photos of scantily clad women. Officials say after their personal information was verified, clients would be offered sex services, some costing more than $600 per hour.
These websites facilitated the movement of predominantly Asian women across the United States for sex trafficking and a commercial sex ring, exploiting them in the process.
The brothels were allegedly run out of high-end apartment buildings, including this one in the Boston suburb of Watertown. Investigators say the ringleader, one of 3 people now charged in this case, was seen delivering women and exchanging cash. Officials have yet to reveal any of the clients' names so far, but here's how they describe them.
They are doctors, they are lawyers, they're accountants, they're elected officials. They are executives at high-tech companies and pharmaceutical companies. They're military officers, government contractors, professors, scientists. Pick a profession, they're probably represented in this case.
At least 2 of the 3 suspects face a court hearing next week. As for the clients, about 20 were interviewed for the investigation, but officials say there could be hundreds more. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
People magazine has named its 2023 Sexiest Man Alive, with Patrick Dempsey taking home the honor this year. Known to millions of Grey's Anatomy fans as McDreamy, at 57, Dempsey is the second oldest to bear the title. Sean Connery was 59 when he was crowned. Dempsey, who played Derek Shepherd on Grey's Anatomy, is also a race car driver. That's what he told People magazine, as well as saying, "I'm glad it's happening at this point in my life," going on to say it gives me the platform to use it for something positive. And here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Calhoun County ISD $25 million bond was passed by 158 votes in Tuesday's bond election. And the city of Port Lavaca was recognized by the Texas Municipal League for its Earth Day cleanup event. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Crossroads Today, hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on our Thursday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Several people showed up to a VFW post last night to celebrate veterans.
There were fireworks on the debate stage last night in Miami for the 3rd presidential debate, but one person was noticeably absent. I'm ABC News' Liz Landers in Washington with all the takeaways from the presidential debate.
And coming up after the break, we're taking a look at that school bus forecast. There's rain chances for today, and we're going to take another look at that cool front timing as well. Good morning, Crossroads. If you're all waking up with us this morning, if you're just tuning in, look at a live look of North Victoria right there. We're kind of nice out there this morning, but that rain is on its way, so we'll take a look at that in a moment. Like I said, nice out there this morning, 70 degrees starting out the day. And at the dew point, though, is 69 degrees, making that humidity at 97%. So it might be a little foggy out there this morning, so please be careful if you're on the road and you see some patchy fog out there. Now, that fog will be out of our area probably about 9 10 a.m. if I had to guess. This is my best guess, at least. Well, if you're sending your kiddos off to school this morning, probably going to be about 67 degrees, upper 60s, with some scattered showers in the area. We're going to take a look at that rain in just a second. And in the afternoons, or head back home about 3-4 p.m., 81 degrees is the afternoon high, with some scattered thunderstorms in the area this afternoon. Take a look at the live radar there. It's pretty clear out there and pretty quiet right now because all that rain is up north, which will be in our area by this morning. Let's take a look at the timing here. Probably expecting a couple showers start developing in the late morning hours, maybe 9-10 a.m., becoming more widespread and more developed into some thunderstorms going into the afternoon. Take a look at those rain totals, though, because it's going to be a good rain, especially for the next couple days. Some of these areas receiving up to 1.5 inches, up to 2 inches, but we're going to take a look at that and those cooling temperatures and more and the timing of that cold front and more in just a few more moments. For now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. The playoffs start today, and the #2 Refugio Bobcats want a chance at winning it all this season after coming up short.
At a Crossroads, the Refugio Bobcats are the highest ranked team in the Crossroads area and have high aspirations of making it back to the big dance in December. The Bobcats have only lost one game all season, but other than that have dominated in every aspect. Refugio made it to the state title game last season where they fell 55-27 against the Hawley Bearcats. Junior quarterback Keelan Brown said every victory, including a state title, would not be enough for him. Brown said he's trying to win state and go play at the next level.
That's really what's on our mind. So if we don't get that ring, then it's all for nothing. All that we did from the beginning to now, it don't mean nothing. You know, so every year in August, we have one goal, and that's to go get a ring. And we're going to go get that ring.
The Bobcats are a year older and much more experienced than last season. This group has been playing with each other since the playground days. That's your 25 Sports Now.
All right, thank you, Gino, and go Refugio Bobcats. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. The third presidential debate playing out last night in Miami, Florida, a key state for candidates in the 2024 presidential race. But the former president decided once again to skip the stage, instead allowing his rivals to duke it out for hours.
Fireworks on the Republican debate stage in Miami last night, and things quickly turning personal when Vivek Ramaswamy attacked Nikki Haley's 25-year-old daughter for using TikTok.
While her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time, so you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Here's the truth.
You're just scum.
The 5 qualifying candidates took to the stage to debate politics and policy for the first time since war broke out between Israel and Hamas, offering their solutions to the conflict.
You cannot negotiate with evil. You have to destroy it. The last time that we turned our back on a shooting war in Europe, it bought us just a couple of years. And then 500,000 Americans were killed in Europe to defeat Hitler.
The political outsider Ramaswamy addressing the Republican losses in Tuesday's elections, pushing for accountability in the GOP.
We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. There's a cancer in the Republican establishment.
The candidates also playing defense over the issue of abortion rights after the party's election losses this week. The lone woman on the stage responding to a question about federal abortion laws.
So no Republican president can ban abortions any more than a Democrat president can ban these state laws.
Noticeably absent, the former president. With a commanding lead in the polls, Trump was about a half hour away holding his own event in Florida, but still the subject of some criticism from his former allies.
He owes it to you to be on this stage and explain why he should get another chance.
Anybody who's going to be spending the next year and a half of their life focusing on keeping themselves out of jail and courtrooms cannot lead this party or this country.
The Biden campaign responding in a statement saying that MAGA Republicans are pushing a, quote, losing agenda on issues like abortion, the economy, and Medicare. In Washington, Liz Landers, ABC News.
That leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. We ask you, did you watch the GOP debate last night? Okay, let's take a look. 18% of you said yes, you did. You tuned in. And 82% of you say no, you skipped it. We want to keep hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. More than 50 people showed up to that VFW post for a burger night last night, but it wasn't any normal burger night. The VFW honored and served veterans and their spouses with a free meal in observance of Veterans Day on Saturday. Girl Scouts, first responders, EMTs, and police officers were also on hand to educate people on their industries.
All the veterans out there from the VFW Post 4146, we want to thank you all for your service and for everything you did. Thank you very much.
The VFW lost a great one recently, as our hearts and prayers from all the community go to friends and family of former Navy Chief Thomas Francis Vatter. The Victoria Veterans Council has announced the Veterans Day parade that was set for this Saturday is canceled now due to inclement weather. Instead, a ceremony will take place at the VFW Post 4146 at 2001 Lova Drive at 11 a.m. followed by a luncheon. And here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record. Mayor Sarah Postmeyer signs a proclamation making November National Home Care and Hospice Month in Cuero. And a Veterans Day ceremony will be held this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Post Home. Plus, Hunt Elementary collects much-needed items for the Cuero Pet Adoption Center. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. The time is now 6:47 on your Thursday morning. Still to come, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak was hospitalized in Mexico City.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. Well, the big news today is that cold front that is coming late tonight, and the timing of that cold front is still kind of up in the air. But that actually leads to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll asks, what time do you think that front will arrive tonight? So let's take a look. Half of y'all are saying 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. is that timing. 30% of y'all, about a third of y'all, are saying 10 p.m. to midnight. 20% of y'all, about a fifth of y'all, are saying midnight to 2 a.m. And none of y'all are saying 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. So we're going to take a look at this timing in just a second. To vote on today's weather poll, go to crossroadstoday.com/vote-weather to participate and see what everybody else is thinking that timing of the cold weather as well. We're going to take a look at timing on a couple of models here. We're going to start with the North American model here. This one's going to be a little bit different than the high-res model, which is next. You can see all that dry, cold air coming out of the northwest, and it's probably going to be an hour area, probably about midnight to 1 a.m. As you can see here, 1 a.m. is right around when it's coming through on this model. But on the high-res model, it's going to look a little different. We're going to warm up to the low 80s today, maybe high 70s in some areas, and then that front on the high-res model will probably be here maybe just a little after 11 p.m. tonight. And it's going to drop us to some cool temperatures tomorrow. Drop us to, yes, this is the high temperature for tomorrow. 60s are in the forecast for tomorrow. Make it a nice cool day tomorrow. Well, that cool weather, if you like that cool weather, it got some good news. That's going to be sticking around for quite a while, because what's going to go on here is got this high pressure that's actually going to reinforce all that cold air to come down our area tonight, and that's going to stick around here in the continental United States for quite some time, giving us those northerly winds, keeping us quite cool for several days on end. And we'll take a look at those temperatures and those rain chances and more in just a few more moments. For now, back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak was hospitalized in Mexico City Wednesday. That's from a source from the organizers of the World Business Forum, an event he was attending. The source says Wozniak was taken to the hospital after fainting. Two Republicans leading powerful House committees are calling for the Department of Veterans Affairs to speed up efforts to decrease the agency's reliance on China for medical supplies. It stems from vulnerabilities in America's medical supply chains made clear after the COVID-19 pandemic resulted in a shortage of masks and other life-saving gear. Now the chairman of the China Select Committee and the Veterans Affairs Committee are warning the VA needs to do more to prevent a similar episode in the future. They wrote to the VA Secretary about the lack of sufficient domestic production. They warned China could exploit the weakness, putting Americans in danger in future emergencies. The VA confirmed it got a letter and said leaders are working to respond to the questions asked in it. A VA spokesman said they've been working with other federal agencies to identify U.S.-made products, and as a result, the vast majority of what the VA buys comes from domestic sources. Still to come on Sunrise News to know before you go. The Victoria County Elections Office says it had 2 issues with the voting machines Tuesday. Edna voters rejected Proposition A on their ballot Tuesday. 76% of the voters turned down a proposal regarding a new sports complex for Edna ISD. And the Victoria County Elections Office said it had 2 issues with the new voting machines Tuesday. They say the vendors are working on those issues. Apparently, the DS300 tabulator would not open or had an error of a bad boot drive. Poll workers had instructions on opening and closing the polls in that event, but they were still learning the new systems. The new machines use a 2-step process, so when you vote, your vote is stored electronically and on paper to maximize accuracy. When you vote, the ballot prints on paper, then you insert the ballot inside a nearby tabulator. 1 person is dead and several others were hospitalized following a multi-vehicle crash in El Paso on Wednesday night. Authorities responded to the crash at Loop 375 between Pebble Hills and Edgemer near Montana. At least 7 vehicles were involved in the crash, several of them catching fire. 1 person died on the scene. 7 of the victims involved in the crash are expected to recover, while 1 suffered serious injuries. The cause is currently unknown and the investigation is underway. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with his South Korean counterpart Jin In-sul on Thursday. Blinken, who is currently on a visit to Asia, arrived in South Korea for bilateral meetings, including with President Yoon and the country's national security advisor. The agenda included discussions about the DPRK's provocative actions in the Korean Peninsula and the provision of military equipment and munitions by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea to the Russian Federation for use in its war against Ukraine, among other pressing issues. Blinken's visit follows his trip to Japan, where he attended the G7 foreign ministers meeting. United States Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg visited Kyiv on Wednesday and had a meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The meeting focused on coordinating joint actions to rebuild Ukraine's infrastructure and develop transportation capabilities to export Ukrainian goods to international markets. The Transportation Department appointed Robert Mariner, who has performed engineering work for the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy, served as an advisor to the Transportation Counselor to the U.S. Embassy in Kabul, Afghanistan. And other topics discussed in the meeting were the prospects of further development of an alternative humanitarian route in the Black Sea for the transportation of Ukrainian export products and the establishing of the joint production in the defense industry. This notice is for those of you summoned for jury duty Tuesday, November 14th at the Justice of the Peace Precinct 4 in Victoria County. You are asked to not appear if you are scheduled for jury duty that day. That 8:30 a.m. trial is canceled and it will not be rescheduled. We want to invite you to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And we do have time for a final check of our forecast with Parker. Parker, we're going to need an extra layer of hairspray today. That humidity is vicious.
Yes, it is very, very humid out there this morning. Take a look at right now, 97% here in Victoria, because that's so close, the temperature is so close to the dew point. That's why it's so humid out there. And actually quite foggy out there for some of us out there. Take a look at the foggy index out here. Anything you see above 95% is probably going to be fog. So please be careful out there if you're on the roads, because that fog will probably be lifting by around 10 a.m. this morning. We're expecting some showers today. We've got a couple showers just now starting to develop out here just north of Goliad and southwest of Cuero. And they'll probably start picking up later in the afternoon. We'll take a look at that in a second, because all the rest of the showers are up north, and that will be in our area by later this morning. Take a look at the timing, though. Probably expect those showers to start developing more widespread going into the later morning, and especially going into the later afternoon, where we might see a couple thunderstorms going into the afternoon and overnight hours tonight, though. Look at that 7-day, though. We're going to be cooling off just a little bit after that front arrives tonight, into the 60s this weekend and 60s next week, with plenty of rain chances sticking around for quite some time. Give us a good shot at seeing some solid rain totals over the next few days.
Well, I know that's going to make a lot of our leaders in agriculture happy, Parker.
Oh, absolutely. They need that rain so bad.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Be sure to tune in tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.